Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? This is Kyle and Mike from the Fantasy Phenom. We're back, reporting another amazing night for the Phenoms. We're hearing cash stories all over the place. Jay Madrid, shout out to you again, sir. Another good cash night. What else we got? Let me pull up all these winners here. Just go to my handy little Facebook page right here. I want to make sure I get everyone's name here that showed me their lineup. Let's see. We had Tavion Thompson. He cashed really nice tonight. Had lineups of 337, 340, 331. Great job. Michael Gray cashed tonight. Looks like he hit 8 times his buy-in, so congratulations there. Of course, Jay hit 400 tonight and proudly destroyed CSU Ram. Andre Michael cashed tonight. Great job with his line. He hit 312 on DraftKings, which I believe that was a high score on DraftKings, correct? Like that's
Absolutely.
A good score. Okay.
Yeah.
So great job there. Josh Tannery, he hit 349 on FanDuel, but he can't play FanDuel, so he was in a free contest.
Oh man.
So
yeah, 300 to damage on DraftKings today.
Oh, Willie Horton as well. Willie Horton hit 346 on DraftKings.
Nice job. 346 would have. Wow.
So you guys are killing it tonight, man. The Phenom,
sure you want some money like that.
The Phenoms are in effect, man.
We're coming in full force, baby. I mean, I cashed in all my double ups tonight. It was quite a successful night. The Nets, what are you gonna do?
Hey, the Nets are fantasy winners, man.
Exactly. If anything, we're fun to watch for fantasy sports,
Oh man, I had so here's my 4 lines that I played. I only didn't cash in one. My locks for the night were John Wall and Blake Griffin in every single lineup. I had John Henson in 3 of my 4 lineups, who late in the game came close to value, or came close to his projection. I had Wilson Chandler, I believe, in 2 or 3. Bogdanovich in 1. Beal was in 3. DeRozan was in 2. Tim Hardaway Jr. was in 3. As you can see, this was my best lineup right here. Dennis Schroeder, 48 points. We talked about him on the show a lot this morning. We liked him against Denver. John Wall broke his projection. I talked about liking him over LeBron James, and for cheaper, hit more points. Hardaway Jr., I told you guys I liked him. Right at value, I guess you could say. I think he missed value by 1 point, but I'll take that.
Yeah, it's projection. I mean, look at that.
Spot on.
3 off. Yeah.
Bradley Beal within 4 points of his projection. Wilson Chandler beat his projection by 5.5. Otto Porter spot on his projection, missed it by a point. Blake Griffin, as we talked about, 53 points. JaMychal Green, 25. I mean, the projections were really, really good tonight, Mike.
Cool. Yeah, me like.
The one that screwed me.
I agree.
Look at this right here, Kelly Oubre, man. I was talking to Josh Sands, and we were making a lineup, and that Kelly Oubre news literally as Mike was on his live lock. And
Did you watch me?
Yeah, and I was like, Josh, we got to get on this Kelly Oubre pick. And so we made a lineup with Porter and Oubre, knowing that they both would start because we were looking at Markieff. And so, sure enough, Oubre starts at the 4. It's a good matchup. He played 34 minutes.
Dude, I will say that if you watched yesterday's show, I said this exactly. What did I say? That Oubre was going to be the first one off the bench to replace Markieff Morris. And sure enough, it happened. And the dude played 34 minutes, and I don't know, maybe he was just distracted by somebody in the front row. Either way, I'm not only just fading Oubre altogether. I'm never calling an Uber ever again.
I remember on the show, it made me laugh because you talked about Kelly Oubre. We talked about him getting his minutes, and you were like, "Yeah, and he's doing a whole lot of nothing with them." And sure enough, he starts, has 34 minutes, and does nothing.
Yeah, I'm glad I've solved Kelly Oubre. Really helps me out.
And I still just barely missed cash, but it's all good, man. Let's look at, so again, some of the optimals were really, really nice tonight. Let's look at some of those. This one right here, I mean, we had 329. The first one hit 329, the GPP. I always look at the GPP ones. Those are my favorite ones to play. 329, Derrick Rose had a really nice game. DeMar DeRozan did his thing. Kevin Durant hit his projection. Trevor Booker had a really nice game. That was another play I was cautious on. Me and Josh were talking. I was like, I don't know if I like Trevor Booker, man. And he did, man. He did his thing. Obviously, overtime helped, but I mean, 324, 325. Some of the cash lineups did okay, 325, and then the optimals. These were actually the lowest ones. Let's look at the
I wonder what the cash line was on FanDuel today. My cash line hit 280 and cashed everywhere. So
this third one right here, this would have cashed everywhere, right? 328.
Perhaps.
This is on DraftKings.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely would have cashed everywhere.
So, yeah, man.
Definitely.
I'm pretty happy, man. As I mentioned a couple shows ago, I tweaked what I was doing to project their minutes, and obviously minutes are a huge indicator in projections, right? The more minutes a guy plays, the higher their projection. And I tweaked something in my formula, and the last couple days, man, these projections have been a ton better. Andre Drummond,
minutes is the bread and butter of the whole projection, man.
It is.
If you can accurately project somebody's minutes, you're going to be going strong, and so that's where coming into play, watching these games really comes into play.
So we talked about Drummond or Jokic today, Mike. I hope you didn't play Jokic.
I didn't play either. Yeah, no, I actually played Towns and cash. I had my locks and cash were Wall and Towns and Wiggins, and all three of them had 50 plus. So I was pretty well set up.
We talked about Jeff Teague against Kyrie. I said pay down to Teague, man.
Yeah, that was a good game to target.
Someone just said my hair looks oily. It's the light; it glistens.
Oily? Man, that's what you're taking away from this show.
Oh, man.
You got to be on something.
Yeah, man. It's just an overall good day, man. And you know what? We've added some features. So we have this new app. Well, actually, you know what? Let's start off. First of all, huge shout out to Anthony Gordon. Again, you guys all know Anthony. He does the We Build Wednesdays. Fantasy Phenom is now on iTunes. So, and even more streamlined. You no longer have to go to a website to listen to our podcast in audio form. Anthony is going to upload it onto audio form, and it'll go straight to iTunes. So, I mean, that's probably the most widely used music platform in the world. So we have our own iTunes channel on there. And please, if you listen to it, give it 5 stars and whatever you have to do on there. Because for the first 8 weeks...
Write a review.
Yeah, for the first 8 weeks, we're on the new and discover page on iTunes. And if we are trending up, we appear on that front page. And that would be amazing for us, man. Like, I could not tell you how much more appreciative I would be from a standpoint of just, you know, help and support. Like, I couldn't ask for more than that, because being on the front page of an iTunes Twitter or an iTunes podcast would be that's marketing at its finest.
Yeah, it's a huge bump in our projection. That's for sure. I feel like we should have started with that. I mean,
yeah,
if you're listening to us for the first time and you discovered us on iTunes, just a brief overview of who we are. My name is Mike. Sometimes I go by Money Mike. This is Kyle.
I go by Kyle.
He goes by Kyle. And we're just two guys that love playing DFS. We really have a passion for this. I love watching basketball. It's what brought me to playing fantasy sports, and we have developed and created a community for everyone to collaborate. This
community is amazing.
Yeah, we offer this community so that you don't have to just listen to your favorite podcasts and choose between plays from 5 different guys' opinions. If you're part of our community, there's hundreds and thousands of us, that have their own opinions, and they do their own research, and so it's a big collaborative process. Everybody's really, really awesome, and then we also give you some really legit tools to use.
Projections, minute projections, optimal lineups, DVP, what you need for 5 times value, all that stuff, a player pool. So, and speaking of the community, this is my other announcement. I want to give a huge shout out to Alex Molk, I believe is how you say his last name, and Jeff Bissell. So both of these guys put us onto Slack, which is it's really geared towards business, but we found a way to use it for the community in that it's almost a forum-based communication tool, and it has a bunch of different, what they call channels. So I have one for the Excel files, the game talk, random talk, just to get to know each other. There's one that is a lineup builder. And so it organizes thoughts, and it's a running conversation. But you can reply to each other's messages on there. So just like Facebook, you can reply to a message. You can DM individuals. So anybody that's on our team, they call it a team on Slack, you can DM. You can find them in the directory. And by being a pro member, you get access to Slack. And along with all the projections and everything else. So
it's honestly perfect for what we do because, again, this app is created and meant and designed for people to collaborate as far as from a business perspective. And I mean, that's what we're doing here. We're all in the business of making money playing fantasy hoops, right?
Yeah.
So this app is streamlined for business collaboration, and what better way to do some business collaboration but with NBA DFS and building lineups and whatnot. So I think you guys are going to like it. We've incorporated, the beat writers on Twitter as well. So if you do elect to get notifications from the Slack, you'll get live Twitter notifications from the beat writers,
which is better than Fantasy Labs and Basketball Monster.
Right, which is quicker than that because that's where they're taking it from anyway. It's a really cool thing. I mean, don't let it scare you. I mean, just because it's unfamiliar doesn't mean it's not better. It's actually much better than any other platform that we could find online.
And they do have an app for it, so it's not web based. You can download an app, so just as mobile friendly as Facebook. So
yeah, we're in there. We're in there. We're just two of the bros in there hanging out.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's really awesome. So thank you, Jeff and Alex, for putting us on that. Man, dude, awesome couple days for us. Let's keep this rolling, Mike. We got a good slate tomorrow, 5 games.
Yes, we do. Before we start, since we're dishing out congratulations, I'm going to shout out our winners. Mr. Danny Williams himself, Danny Williams 74. Whoever you are, you're crushing it right now. Took down the Money Melee. Perhaps might bring you into first place overall with a line of 322.25. So congratulations to you. And on FanDuel, our winner scored a line of 349.6, and that was none other than Josh Tannery himself. Mr. Josh.
For $0. $0.
Joshy Tan, Super Bowl man himself.
That's right.
Crushing it. Getting that first win in the Phenom Duel. And for those, again, if you guys are new to listening to this podcast, we offer a free contest on both FanDuel and DraftKings where you can compete and throw a lineup in to compete against the other Phenoms for the title of Top Phenom. And if you have the highest point total at the end of the season, you're going to be submitted into a tournament of champions where you're going to compete to win a prize pack. We're going to give you a jersey of your favorite NBA player and some more. So check it out. Links to join are exclusively on our Facebook page. So you got to go there to find them.
You got DraftKings?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did both.
Oh,
we're good.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. I was looking at one of these comments. Someone just asked if I can send out at least one late optimal when I send out the mains. Yes and no. So the night before I cannot because I don't have the late optimals because I don't have the slates yet. FanDuel doesn't release them until the day of. So when I send out the sheets at night, I don't have them. But I always do I always send out all the slates before lock, so you can put them in the main.
So yeah, 5-game slate tomorrow. If you haven't seen, my research on what to consider if you are rostering multiple players in a certain game or on a certain team, I'm not even going to call it stacking anymore. It's just if you find that you have multiple players or multiple players on a certain team, like teammates, I have some stats that you should probably consider before you do so. So it's in the Facebook group, and we're going to release those stats on every short slate like this to the pro subscribers.
Dave just said he woke up and fell off the couch.
Dude, I about did that earlier. I was taking a nap, woke up, looked at my phone, was like, whoa, making money.
All right. Point guards tomorrow, Mike. Boston at Portland. Isaiah Thomas, Dame Lillard. This is DraftKings pricing tonight. Isaiah's 10K,
cool.
Dame is 89.
Yep. So, if you're looking at based on like defense first position, if you're not considering price either, it looks like Damian Lillard would be the play over Isaiah Thomas. But you also have to factor in that price, and I don't know that Dame Lillard is really worthy of $9,000. I think Isaiah Thomas is more worthy of $10,000 than Dame is worthy of $9,000.
Exactly.
And I also kind of think that, Thomas might not be like. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's 5 games, so a lot of people are going to have him. But I bet you see the ownership spread out more between Thomas and Lillard than you think, just because they lost tonight. They're on a road back-to-back, So perhaps people are somewhat afraid of that. However, I have statistics to prove that you should not be afraid of that. Because Isaiah Thomas is is pretty much a basketball god under 6 feet tall. So in the last 6 times they've had back-to-backs, right? Isaiah Thomas has scored more fantasy points in the second game. And not just by a small margin. He's averaging 51.5 FanDuel points on the second night of back-to-backs in the last 6 times. And he's averaging just over 40 points. So almost 10 more points on the second night of back-to-backs in the last 6 times it's happened. Does it make sense? No. Does Isaiah Thomas make sense? No. But does DFS make sense on a daily basis? No. We're just throwing it out there.
Someone just asked if you could roster just all value players in cash. Absolutely not.
Just all value players?
Absolutely not. You'd be leaving half your salary on the table.
Yeah, I'm not sure that perhaps he properly didn't pose that question.
Someone just asked. We'll get to it. My boy is coming up.
I do also want to explain, because I keep thinking people are listening to us and not watching us now. So we have a live chat going. For those of you that think we're just crazy talking to random people and laughing at nothing, we have a live chat right here that people are commenting. So that's what we're reacting to if you're just listening to us and not watching. But if you want to watch, you can see some of these kooks here commenting.
Russell Westbrook at home against Cleveland with none of the big 3. What are we doing?
Russell Westbrook, yeah, it's kind of scary that there's no big 3. It makes me almost feel like everyone would just go Harden over Westbrook on this slate, Mm-hmm. And that to me makes me like Westbrook in tournaments. Similar to what happened with Kemba and Dame the other day, Everything pointed to Kemba Walker over Dame Lillard, right? Same price. But if you played Dame, you won the tournaments. So I don't necessarily think Westbrook's in a better spot than Harden. I just think, it could be a nice thing to do. They have won 3 in a row, surprisingly, without Cantor now. And he's averaging close to 3 more field goal attempts per game than his season average since Cantor's been out.
That makes me sad.
What about you?
Cantor is a god, but
what are you thinking about Westbrook tomorrow in this game?
I'll tell you, my preferred of the two is James Harden. I think the game will be a little more competitive in Charlotte, Houston on the road. But I agree with you 100% in tournaments. I think you have to make one lineup with Russell Westbrook because of how higher owned James Harden will be in this Cleveland game. And
Everything points to Westbrook. Everything points to Harden.
It does, yeah, to be different.
So, something else, whenever I look at Westbrook, I look at pace, Like Westbrook and pace, if there's any player that correlates from a bump in pace, it's Russell Westbrook, The more possessions, this guy's...
I almost think the pace is going to be down tomorrow, though. Who the fuck is going to push the ball for Cleveland?
So what I've looked at is pace differential, And I don't think you can really factor that into this game because if you look at pace differential between these two teams, Cleveland doesn't really factor in.
That's what
I will say that on an average, so in the 6 games that the Oklahoma City Thunder have played on 2 days or more rest, which this game would be for them, they average a plus 4.5 in pace differential from their average. Mm-hmm. So they're averaging 4.5 more possessions per 48 minutes with rest.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
So that would bump them to the top pace of team with that rest.
Tomorrow just worries me for this game because Cleveland's bench is notoriously bad. They're the reason Cleveland can't blow out teams. And yet here they are starting and we're expecting them to keep a game close. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing is if you do play Westbrook or Harden, it's pretty much going to be a tournament play because you're relying on choosing the right value, and that's going to be somewhat impossible on the slate.
Okay, so speaking of James Harden, what about Pat Beverly and Kemba Walker? I think I'm going to go Pat Bev in this matchup. I'm not saying he won't score more than Kemba, but I think he's going to return value at a higher percentage.
So with Patrick Beverly, I somewhat compare him with T.J. McConnell and Yogi Ferrell on this slate. So there's that to consider. I do want to just mention real quick with James Harden, his last game against Charlotte, he had a 40-point triple-double with 15 assists and 10 rebounds, 7 3-pointers, and that game had a 235-point total. Mm-hmm. So it was a close game down the stretch, and Harden,
Harden delivered.
So there's that to look at, and that game wasn't too long ago. It was about a month ago. Kemba, on the other hand, is tough for me because you do still have to put him in the same conversation with Dame and Thomas. Even though his price is lower than them, you're still picking which one you're paying up to.
I can't put Kemba in the same pool as Dame. I can't.
Exactly, and so although I want to target this game, I'm only playing Kemba. He's not like a safe guy to me, I'm only targeting him in tournaments, and if you look at in tournaments, I want him to get 40 at least, right? At that price, he's only done that 4 out of 10 games. Batum's only got to 43 out of the last 10 games. They're paying significantly up in pace, so there's that to put into it. But at the same time,
someone just said
I don't know that they pose the correct upside. Someone just said Batum is out.
I don't see any news on Batum being out.
Yep, me neither.
Okay, well, that's something to keep an eye on.
Starting rumors.
I don't like Elfrid Payton against C.J. McConnell, but I do like McConnell against Payton.
Yeah, so Orlando in the last 10 games has the second highest DVP versus point guard position. Doesn't really factor into T.J. McConnell's game because he's not a high usage guy. But his price is somewhat low, and I don't know. Without Embiid, his assists have really plummeted. So I still kind of caution, even though it's a high DVP versus point guard. I don't know that he's like a traditional point guard in that sense. That you can really play that narrative. So it's tough for me. Do I want Yogi, TJ, or Pat Bev? Like those three, I necessarily don't want any of them.
I don't think you can pick
that's
Yogi.
What it is shorts.
Yogi against Utah and Dallas. Like those are the 2 slowest paced teams in the league. That's going to be like an 80
So,
to
yeah,
70 game.
right, but it's either you fade the whole game or you choose which person has the best fantasy matchup. And in my opinion, Yogi Ferrell has the best fantasy matchup on his team.
Oh, on his team. Okay, on his team. I got
So
you.
I'm saying if you were to pick one person on their team to exceed value, to me it would be him. So if you're against fading that game at all in its entirety,
You know what? I kind of like Harrison Barnes at the 4 against Favors.
well, when I say fantasy matchup, I'm factoring in DVP and I'm factoring in price
Okay.
and I'm factoring in usage.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if I'm going to pick one player on their team, I want them to be the top one of the top 3 usage guys and to be in the top DVP matchup. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get you. I don't know. I think if I'm picking any player from that game, though, not looking at price and usage, I'm looking at Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, from just like a
matchup standpoint.
logic perspective, that makes complete sense in my mind as well. But the stats are looking to Yogi, is what I'm saying.
CJ McCollum, I think without Avery Bradley, I think CJ's a lock tomorrow. I want CJ in my lineups.
Again, if he feels overpriced as well with Dame.
Yeah, but
and with Dame being in such a good spot, I don't know that I like CJ as much. Like I like CJ more when Dame is not in such a good spot.
The thing I like about CJ and Dame together is half the game they're not on the court together.
That is true. I agree with you, and I think you definitely can play both. It's just when I look at them from like a price perspective, like
I agree.
How many times have they got to 40 points in the past, month? It's not much. How many times have they both got to 40 points in the past month,
No, I agree.
But then again, you can't really factor salary in as much on a 5-game slate.
That's what I was going to say is I think they have to be a little overpriced on a 5-game slate because obviously if they were the same price as normal, you'd have more flexibility to roster more of those, right?
No, yeah, I definitely could see a 3-man from Portland today. I think you can go Dame, CJ, and Plumlee. And I don't know. I think with Turner out, there's some value to be there as well. I think Harkless is going to move into the starting lineup. They've been doing this thing with Turner and Harkless off the bench as their like bench guys. So if they move Harkless to the starting lineup, perhaps we see Aminu go back as well. Or maybe we just see Crabbe get the start. I don't know. So whoever that starting lineup tends to look like, I think there could be some value there.
Marcus Smart in play?
No, I don't think so. Perhaps in comparison to the other mid-price guys, but...
All right, what about the GOAT, Jaylen Brown?
I don't know if you have to do that today.
No, you don't. I'm not rostering Jaylen Brown. But I just have to throw that in there.
Pivot. Could be a pivot off this Cleveland values thing.
I don't think you roster Jaylen Brown tomorrow. I don't think he's worth that price tag right now. But he is a GOAT. He will be the GOAT. Just not yet.
So I'm pretty safely thinking that the only Thunder guy I want is Russell Westbrook, and I don't even really want him that bad.
I don't either. I think I'm okay fading that game.
I'm really afraid. I think I'd rather fade that game than I would the Dallas game, which is saying something.
Everyone was waiting for me to say the Jaylen Brown reference.
God. Good old JB.
So yeah, I don't like Oladipo tomorrow. What about Kyle Korver, actually?
He was super hot. He had like 9 threes today.
I think the Cleveland value is a trap. I do. I'm not going to look at their value. But Kyle Korver is the only one I could look at.
I don't know. Kyle Korver had 9 or 8 threes and still didn't hit 40 points.
That's because he does nothing else.
Exactly. So if he's not going to go 8 for 10 from 3 tomorrow, it's like...
No, I agree. He's not, but I mean, at 3,900, can he get 20 points?
Can he go 5 for 10 and get you 25 perhaps? Yeah, I think he could.
I don't know. I guess it's
I'm
just
not
something to look
excited. I'm
at.
not excited about it.
You don't start a lineup with him. You don't. You definitely don't start a lineup with.
Yeah. All right, starting my lineup building. All right, what are we gonna do? First, I'm gonna put Kyle Korver in here. Well, who else do I want at shooting guard?
If you have 4K left at a utility, I can see it.
Oh man.
I'm not looking at DeAndre Liggins. I'm not looking at James Jones. I'm not looking at Jordan McRae.
You're
Talk
not
about
gonna look at any of the value.
nope.
It's all minimum salary.
You can
I
take
think
that. You can gladly have that value.
I think you have to. I think you have to pick one in a tournament and hope for the best.
I will pick Kyle Korver.
One of those guys is going to
I'll pick Kyle
crush. I think out of all of them, I like Felder and Fry the best. I know neither of those guys are shooting guards, but I'm just saying.
Maybe Fry. Okay, I can. I think I'm gonna stay away from it, but teach their own. Nick Batum, I like tomorrow.
Again, I don't know that I like. I don't know about this. I think I like Batum over Kemba in cash.
Absolutely. I like Batum over Kemba in both formats.
I like Batum over Kemba in cash, and I think I'm just going to be off of them both in tournaments. They just haven't really shown much upside as of late. So, again, this is the game that they could do it, though, because, like I said, the last time these two teams played, Batum didn't play.
There's going to be
Batum
points.
didn't play in this last game, and there was a 235-point total. And, again, they're playing considerably up in pace in comparison to the rest of the teams on the slate. Yeah, so I do like Batum. I think I want to focus my top plays on Charlotte more in the wings in the front court than I want in the back court.
What about Jeremy Lamb?
Yeah, speaking of Jeremy Lamb, I think he's one of those guys. I think him and Bellinelli are both in play tomorrow.
Jeremy Lamb is almost on Jaylen Brown status.
Yeah. I've never been a big fan of Jeremy Lamb or Kemba Walker because they're both UConn players.
Fuck.
Being a Syracuse fan, I gotta keep it real, you know.
Yeah, but Jeremy Lamb has a good spot tomorrow. I mean, he's going to be facing either James Harden or Eric Gordon, depending on who's out there. Neither of them play defense.
Oh, he absolutely has a good spot tomorrow. And again, there's really nobody else around his price range at his in his position that you're even looking at. Like who else at 30? Who else below 35 or below 4K are you even looking at shooting guard?
Give me Jeremy Lamb over the Cleveland value and Kyle Korver.
Yes, same.
Eric Gordon, speaking of that, 5,100 tomorrow. I like that.
I like it too. I mean, we know what this guy's upside is, and he hasn't shown it at all recently. I don't know if he's got an nagging injury or who knows, man. I just don't have. We haven't seen it an Eric Gordon game of late, and it's kept his price low. I think he's one of the elite tournament players on this slate.
The more I look at this, the more I think you can honestly fade Harden and Westbrook. Maybe not. You know what? I think you'd be really risky fading Harden. I think you can get away with fading Westbrook.
It's tough. It's tough for me. I don't. It doesn't stand out as one or the other. I'd have to go in and start building lineups to really be able to tell. Obviously, ideally, I'm going to start my cash game, and I'm going to have James Harden in it, and I'm going to try and build a lineup around him. And if I can't, I probably won't even play any cash.
I don't know. I'm looking at the value. Like, I love Isaiah Thomas. I can roster Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum, Nick Batum. That alone wouldn't give me James Harden or Russell Westbrook, but I'm confident in those plays. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very confident in James Harden tomorrow, but it's the thing is like, again, I have to go in and build the lineups with the players that I'd have to get at least 5 players that I'm confident in as a cash play.
I understand.
In order to do it.
Okay.
I think I'm just gonna, if I can't build a cash lineup, I think I'm just gonna go light and fade Harden, play light in tournaments with Westbrook. You know.
It's fair.
Again, if you're playing short slates like this, you have to recognize. You really got to recognize. It's because it's if the lineup building doesn't come natural, or you're forcing things, don't gamble. I mean, it's just simple as that.
Sign.
Yeah.
Don't stack just to stack.
And with this Cleveland situation, them possibly resting the big three, it's going to be very tough tomorrow.
Wes Matthews, Seth Curry. Wes is back above Seth Curry's price, but I don't like him against Utah. I don't like either against Utah.
Wait, I don't know if did you unintentionally
I did
skip
not
over Fournier?
No, I did not. Fournier against Philly, 5,900.
Yeah, that's the play I'm looking at in cash over like Eric Gordon or Victor Oladipo against Philly. I know Philly's got this. Philly is third highest DVP versus shooting guards in the last 10. He's the highest usage on the team, and Elfrid Payton hasn't gotten to 30 DraftKings points since he's come back. And I mean, 2 games ago he had 40 points against Toronto, so I think that price is pretty fair.
I like
for this matchup.
I can roster Fournier tomorrow. I'm gonna stay away from the Philly guys, and then now
I like an Orlando stack tomorrow.
I think I'm gonna stay away from Elfrid Payton tomorrow.
Yeah, me too.
Wes and Seth, I'm gonna stay away from. And then I'm gonna stay away from that. I like staying away from most of this Utah Dallas game. You literally take the 2 slowest teams in the league. Not a good fantasy matchup.
Yeah, their combined pace is 188.5.
Yeah, that's
so
really,
that
really
means
low.
That's 188
possessions.
It's 188 possessions per 48 minutes.
It's really bad.
Which is like less than 90 per team. So if they both shoot 50% from the field, then perhaps they get to 180 points.
But you
total, 190 points total.
You mix in good defense with low pace. I mean, both of these teams are near or at the bottom in terms of like good bottom at DVP. So a mix of good defense and slow pace doesn't equal good fantasy.
All of the numbers are going to tell you to completely avoid this game tomorrow. Again, there is something to be said about playing the one guy.
The scores.
Because there's always one guy in the given game that is the guy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So being sharp and digging into that game and trying to find the best fantasy matchup is something I always look at. And then if that returns a player that is, I don't like his price or I don't necessarily agree with the stats, then I just fade.
You see in the comments.
Theo's loving the shirt. I actually this shirt is a New York-based clothing design company called Sneak Tip. Check them out. It's got a sneaker leather in the design.
Fancy.
It's legit, man.
That's what happens when you cash.
Only bring out the best.
That's what happens when you cash a couple nights in a row in DFS. You think you're rich. You start buying stupid shit that you don't need.
Look, man.
Like shoe leather on shirts. Next, Mike's copping a pair of Yeezys next.
Dude, man, my ex-girlfriend had a pair of Yeezys. I fucking hated that shit.
You pick winners, though. I give you that.
Anyway, yeah, drinking some scotch, wearing some swag. That's what it's all about. That's why we're getting you guys a jersey. If you're a top phenom, man.
Jay Crowder against Portland against Mo Harkless, or Mo Harkless against Jay Crowder. Not looking at Mo.
I think you can look at. I think there's something to be said about Mo. I think I might give it a game and watch and see what they do. Just because I expect him to go back to starting. Crowder. I think you can look at Crowder as well, but again, I would like multiple other players on Boston matchup over Crowder.
I'm gonna punt small forward tomorrow, or at least look at value. I'm not gonna go to Crowder. I'm not spending over $6K on small forward tomorrow.
I think so. Yeah, to me, there's 4 guys that I'm looking at: Crowder, Ariza, Covington, and Kid Gilchrist. Did I miss anybody? I mean, I guess Roberson is somewhat in play since he's, I guess, like a double-digit rebounder now. But out of those 4 guys, first thought, who are you going with?
Kid Gilchrist.
For some reason, first thought, I was thinking Covington.
I like Kid Gilchrist tomorrow.
Yeah, I like all 4 of these guys' spots. I think they all kind of project to be like the same like 20 to 30 range. I'd be interested to see how the DraftKings projections come out for those 4. Perhaps I just go with whoever projects the highest.
There's a reason to trust the process, Mike. What do we say? Trust the process.
These kooks are here, man.
So Kyle should wear an Isaiah Thomas head sweatband.
Y'all are crazy.
I love it, man. This is why I love the live chat. That's why I couldn't do a pre-recorded show.
Hey, it's 3:36 where I'm at, and I'm about to get like a foot of snow. So hopefully my class gets canceled tomorrow.
Don't say that shit. I need you to go to class.
Man, I'll just teach it to myself. I'm good enough.
There you go. I like the confidence. I like Ariza and Kid Gilchrist in this matchup tomorrow, though. I do. I can roster both.
Yeah, so Ariza was just scrubbing up the floor this past month, really. And then he had a good game against Orlando, that's what made me look at Covington too. And so I saw Covington had a nice game today against the Spurs, against Kawhi, and Ariza just had a bounce back performance against
Orlando. You can definitely target Orlando wings.
Yeah, so that's why I started to look at Covington a little bit. But yeah, I think there's something to be said about riding the hot streak. Remember I said on last night's show, jump on Beal before his price goes up, and look what he did tonight. Now next slate he's gonna be like 7.5.
Yeah.
So perhaps this is the same deal with Ariza. You jump on him now before he hits 2 good games in a row and you can't play him.
I think I'm going to fade Gordon Hayward, but like I said, Harrison Barnes is the one guy I can roster from that Dallas side.
I just thought of something funny as shit. So I know I told you I have the sneaker leather on my shirt.
Yeah.
Well, the hat that I'm wearing has shoelaces on it. I swear I didn't intend for this trend.
You probably have a foot fetish.
I mean, I like sneakers. I got a shoe collection.
Jesus. This is where all the
if you're into the swag too, I'll shout out these guys. Maybe we'll get some sponsors. This company is called Lacer Headwear. This is a Devil's hat, and it's got the hockey laces on the front.
This is where all your DFS winnings go. He's the guy that buys every pair of Jordans.
I did buy I did buy the last Melo Jordans from when he was in Denver. Those were super fly. But that was the last real expensive Jordans I bought. I'll go get them now if you guys want to see.
No, it's okay.
All right. I'm just trying to improve. The people that are listening on iTunes, maybe they'll want to come watch our show now and see all the swag I got.
I feel you. Theo has every.
It's 3:38, man. He's not crazy. I'm just reeling.
Kyle has work in 3.5 hours.
Who's Kyle?
I'm Kyle. I go by Kyle.
So, power forwards.
Aminu. I like him tomorrow. I like Aminu.
Yeah, I think I like him especially if he starts. But again, it's the same thing with Crowder. I like a lot of other players in that starting lineup over Aminu. I like a lot of spots in that game. So it's like, do you really play the guy that's going to be 4th in usage on their team? Perhaps I guess if his price is right, you look at it, but you really have to dig in.
You like Channing Frye? You said Laverne. Is he in play?
What's up, Laverne? Yeah. So what's weird? I've noticed that it's like a trend. Like Laverne has 25 minutes, then Sabonis has 25 minutes, then Grant has 25 minutes. So maybe we're right now. It's Laverne's game.
Everyone wants you to show the damn shoes.
Really? All right, I'll show the shoes.
Go get your damn shoes. I'll continue. So I like Laverne tomorrow. Kaminsky I like as well against Houston. I think that is a good matchup. Here's Mike.
You guys are aggravating, Kyle.
Let's see your shoes. Have you ever worn those?
Hell yeah. I've played many basketball games in these shoes.
Okay.
They've got extra padding right around the Achilles area. It's beautiful stuff. I feel like Zach LaVine.
So now I gotta wait for Jaylen Brown to release his shoes, and then we're good to go. Tell you,
I did like Dame just released a pair of shoes with Adidas that are pretty fly. Check them out. I think I liked them on my Twitter page. If you want to go check out my like. Anyway, Kaminsky is somebody I'm high on tomorrow.
I was talking about him.
High.
I was talking about
his price is too high. He had a good game the last time out against the Rockets, and we just saw what Ibaka did, and Vucevic. I mean, I like to target this front court, man.
I do too. They don't rebound. Ryan Anderson literally does not rebound.
He's not close enough to the hoop. It's in front of the 3-point line. I think he gets like he's got like one of those like choke collars on that the dogs have, and every time he goes beyond the 3-point line,
gets shocked.
D'Antoni just like shocks him.
Who are you playing out of Kaminsky and Williams? I go Kaminsky, even with 500.
Definitely like Kaminsky tomorrow.
Surge against Philly. I think you have to look there. Philly's worst team.
I'm still trying to decide between Surge and Vucevic. Man, you can technically play both.
You can.
I tried to avoid doing it.
It worked last short slate on the 3-game slate.
It did. Again, but I think other than Harden, this is where I'm going to go as my next lock in cash. I think I want to go Fournier and either Ibaka or Vucevic.
Okay. I can lock all three.
Yeah, I want to lock all three. I don't know if you can safely build a lineup that's like, cash worthy with those three guys. That's where I would start, and then I would see what I got.
What about Ilyasova?
What do I have on Ilyasova?
I can see.
No, I don't. For some reason, I'm not on Ilyasova. I had a reason. I don't know what it was.
I would rather
see if I can jog.
I would rather go Frank Kaminsky. But the other one you have to look at is Jeff Green without Aaron Gordon. Jeff Green
I think you
4,000.
do. Yeah, I think he's a safer so he's someone I would consider in cash as well. The fact that he's not coming off the bench, I'd rather him coming off the bench, but
the minutes are going to be there. He's going to get an uptick in minutes.
So here it is. The Magic against the power forward position are the third best in the league in the last 10. Third to only Utah and Memphis.
Serge is playing defense again.
So that's why I decided to fade Ilyasova.
I like Kaminsky more, and then obviously Jeff Green.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like Dirk at all?
So yeah, Dirk could easily be that guy I was talking about. So if you're looking to find that guy in Dallas, and I don't know, I think Dirk could be that guy. I played him last game, and he won me money, so I like him for that. I don't know. What are you thinking about Dirk in this point total?
Give me
grossness.
Harrison Barnes more.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way.
Al Horford against Portland. Are you looking at it?
Yeah, so Horford or Vucevic.
Vucevic.
Agree. Horford or Plumlee?
Horford.
That one's tougher to me. $800 difference.
But I can make this easy for you. Neither of the two are going to be played by me because I'm going to go Vucevic.
Yeah, so on FanDuel, I think Vucevic is somewhat of a lock. But that to me, so you're thinking FanDuel, you're going to go Kaminsky over Ibaka and Vucevic over
Everyone
Field.
else. Yes.
Yeah.
I like
Sounds like a
Vucevic.
solid plan.
I like Vucevic.
I like Plumlee, though. I really do. I mean, there's something to be said. Again, if you look at DVP, which we like to do, that is always a factor. This is the second highest point total on the slate, and it is a pick'em game. So
it's going to be close.
Yep, and I also have some tasty fantasy line projections coming out for those who are paid subscribers, and it may or may not favor that game as well.
Yeah, that's something to add into your research as well. Where are we at? Steven Adams against Cleveland.
Again, I'm afraid of this OKC team instead of Westbrook. It's as simple as that. I mean, I guess Adams will be the next guy that I would look at.
Yeah, I don't think he gets enough run. I think they rest him if it starts to get blown out.
Would you rather play Adams or Capella?
Vucevic.
So in tournaments, do you think you can fade Vucevic? If I mean, we both agree that he's the best overall center player on the slate. Do you think that he's worth a fade in tournaments, or is he just that? Is he that much of a lock?
I personally will play Vucevic in tournaments. I'll play Vucevic in every format, and I haven't made any lines yet, so I'm not going to guarantee anything. But
if you were forced to fade Vucevic, who would you want to play in tournaments?
Horford.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't think I look at Vucevic as from a cash tournament perspective tomorrow. Vucevic is the guy.
The best, yeah.
Yeah. Dedmon put up 30 points tonight against Philadelphia.
Oh man, I mean, you heard the stats I brought out the other day about centers versus
Philadelphia.
Philly. Yeah, man, it's without Embiid. Without Embiid, the entire defensive rating on Philly has just skyrocketed, skyrocketed in a bad way. So I guess plummeted.
Yeah.
The entire team is allowing so many more points. The opponent's effective field goal percentage has climbed. It's like, I don't know. Embiid is just the greatest
Look
person.
At this. So over the last 5, Philly 63.8 FanDuel points to opposing centers. The next highest, 54.1. That's how bad.
Pretty unreal. And it's not like we say you got to dig into the stats. Again, they played Dwayne Dedmon twice in those. They also played Salah Mejri, who got the start that day, and had 16 and 17 for like 44 points. Oh yeah, you throw Robin Lopez in there as well. So yeah, Drummond and Whiteside are like the only two legit centers in that stat.
I just don't think and Vucevic probably will be 60% owned tomorrow, in my guess. In cash, he'll be really high owned. In GPPs, I still think he's high owned, like severely highly owned.
And again, we're talking for good reason. That's why I was mentioning perhaps you could consider fading him, but
I think that is
because
good
they're
chalk.
also.
I think that's good chalk.
Yeah, I think it might be good chalk as well.
Obviously, Kaminsky, Capella. Capella's an option. Capella's definitely an option against Charlotte rebounding.
He's back to kind of where he was earlier in the season, though. He was always right around 6K before he got hurt.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're getting him at a bargain anymore.
I guess the only other one that is in play for me. I mean, actually, Jahlil Okafor is in play if he plays.
So yeah, I'm somewhat interested. So Rashawn Holmes, he didn't play this game today because he had some.
Yeah, he was out. Whatever reason.
He had an illness, so he was sick, and so this is a back-to-back, and we know that Okafor tends to be limited on the second half of back-to-backs. The Philly doesn't generally like to run him out. All of their centers, even you throw Noel into that narrative, they don't like to run those guys back-to-backs. So I'm interested, with if Embiid and Rashawn Holmes are both out, and this is a back-to-back, are one of these two limited?
I love Okafor, man.
That would be the only concern for me.
If Okafor plays and he plays a full allotment of minutes, he's going to have a good game against Vucevic. Jahlil Okafor is incredibly talented from an offensive perspective.
Again, if you're new to this show, me and Kyle have differences on that take. But
I'm telling you, dude, Ja Okafor, he needs to get the hell out of Philly, man. He needs to be in a spot where he can grow and be the center. And I'm telling you, he's going to be a damn good player in this league.
I hope you're right. He seems like a good guy.
He is, man.
But right now, he's not getting the minutes.
He's not.
Even when he starts, he's only playing 24 minutes. I know his usage has been up and down recently because that's their game, is they like to target, these guys in the front court. But without Embiid, their pace has actually increased, which is somewhat interesting. I imagine that has to do with more turnovers and more missed shots, leading to long rebounds in that sense. But their pace has actually somewhat increased without Embiid.
Lastly, Gobert. It's only 6,700 tomorrow. That's kind of crazy.
He's only 69 today, and I don't know, what did he do today. He was a big part of my lineup building that didn't make it into my roster. Not sure what he did today. I'm leaning toward fading this game, but I think if I go, I don't know. If I go toward Utah, who's your guy on Utah? Like, if you had to pick one guy.
Gobert. Gobert against Dirk.
I think I'd go Gobert too. I think he had a good game against Dallas. This season.
I'm looking at it purely from a matchup standpoint of him against Dirk. I just like the rebounding and the potential.
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah, from afar, without even looking at it, it seems like this would be a plus matchup. Obviously, the game isn't a plus matchup at all. One to target at least, but look. I think
here's the one thing. Here's what I will say though. In a game where there's going to be a lot of defense, that means missed shots. That makes me like Gobert a little more.
Yeah, it's kind of his game. So here we go. Yeah, dude, this was an overtime game. So that's something. So there's that to be considered when you talk about these stats.
33.
Utah won.
Points.
Utah won in Dallas. This was the game he went off.
Oh, okay.
The 20th of January, Gobert had 27 points and 25 rebounds.
Wow. Oh, I do remember that.
That totally changes my. I can't believe I overlooked that in my research. That totally changes my perspective on whether or not you can fade Vucevic. I think you can safely fade him to go Gobert. I mean, that is a dominating performance, man.
I'm telling you, dude, Gobert against Dirk, I can see it.
And from the other side, we saw 27 minutes from Dwight Powell in that game. For whatever reason, he got extra run over Salah Mejri.
Okay.
So
do this then.
That's something to look at.
Vucevic and Gobert tomorrow. Don't get cute. Play both.
I still am not playing anybody in this game as like a safe play. No one is safe.
In a tournament,
in this
play
game.
Both.
I think you could. Yeah, I think you definitely could. They're both right around the same price, and I would imagine. But that to me just screams like perfect pivot.
I can dig that. I can get behind that. But I'm still going to roster.
Yeah, that is a dominating performance, man. 27 and 25. He had 17 free throw attempts, which just means he was just he got all the usage in that game,
I'm still going to go Vooch, but I can definitely see the pivot. And like I said, I never play DraftKings, but I might tomorrow just because I want to roster both of them. And
there you go.
I can still play beginner contests.
Maybe it'll go into overtime again, and we'll win all the money.
Right? I'll win all, what is it, like a $500 pool? Is that what the beginner contests are?
The free contest? No, they got some nice beginner contests, man.
Do they?
You can play a $12 single entry in your beginner contest.
Okay.
Whereas FanDuel, they limit your entries to $1 or $2.
Fuck it then. I'll play the $12 one tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's like a $12 single entry with like 150 entries, like $400 the first.
Fuck it. I'll try it. You guys are gonna. If I kill it on FanDuel tomorrow, y'all are
You
gonna
mean
hear it.
DraftKings?
Damn it, DraftKings. Y'all are gonna hear it.
That's happened to me the first day I played FanDuel. Remember I won the contest and got on the show?
Yeah, I do. That is right. That's how you got on the show. I forgot about that.
Yeah, first day I ever played FanDuel, I won the contest.
That's crazy, man. Just thinking about how this all developed. I completely forgot about that because yeah, George and I were doing those, and then you came on the show with George and I. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. The hustle, man.
That's hilarious. And I still remember that bet you made with me about in the live chat. This is how me and Mike met, by the way. Is back when me and George were doing Sports Swirl. Mike, I talked about Boogie, and I said Boogie's going to be the highest scorer of the night. And Mike's dumbass said, "Oh, I think KP6 is going to score more than Boogie." And I was like,
And he was playing the Lakers.
"Hell yeah, let's take that." And I was like, "Let's just do a fun bet." And then that's when Mike still was doing his cheat sheets. And he was like, I'll bet you my Money Mike cheat sheet. And then I don't remember what yours was, but
Yeah, I made an unreasonable bet knowing that I would lose because if I lost, then he would get my cheat sheet and realize that it was fire and want it.
Mike is a good marketer. That was very strategic on his part, and it worked.
There you go. You guys need to learn.
But no, it was smart. That's how me and Mike met, though, and now here we are.
Yeah, I do. Actually, I want to touch on these cheat sheets because I do from time to time see things about them. So right now, because I'm trying to develop our website, from scratch, my time is very limited. So I've decided that instead of typing out my entire rationale for each player, because I was giving you guys a good paragraph in each one of my plays. That's what I'm doing on the show now. I'm pretty much giving you my rationale on the show, and I'm releasing the Vegas lines that were on the cheat sheet in the Instagram post and on Twitter and Facebook. So essentially, you're still getting the cheat sheet. It's just in a different way, so I can kind of streamline my time. Maybe in the future.
That's why you don't see Mike as active on Facebook and whatnot, because he's pretty much just focusing on the website design. So if Mike's not as active as you guys like, I apologize, but Mike's working on obviously that big thing for all of us.
Yeah, the best way to get to me is by messaging me. If you tag me in posts and things, I tend to see them too late. Like today, for example, I saw I was tagged in a post like 12 hours after it posted. I mean, I responded to it, but it's just easier for me when you message me on Facebook or Twitter if you're trying to get me to come back.
Yeah, same with me. Like, when you tag me in posts, I don't always see it. Facebook doesn't always send me notifications. And so I know there was a post the other day, someone asked me a question, and I got tagged in it. And I think part of the problem with that is it was just me and Mike tagged in the post. And so no one else felt like they could respond because the question was directed at me and Mike. And I didn't see it, and Mike didn't see it for whatever reason. And so it went unnoticed. And then it was... it looked like we were assholes for not responding. So I got it. I get it from both sides because you tag us, you're expecting a response, but when you do that, you also limit the exposure to responses. So
yeah, do it in this Slack. Download the Slack app. Get in there. You can direct message Kyler and I, and it's really cool because it's very easy to incorporate files. So like say we have spreadsheets or I use all of my graphics and you want one of my graphics or one of our logos or a page from Kyle's spreadsheet, it's so much easier for us to share that with you personally over a direct message on Slack. It's where it's next to impossible to do that through Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, so
in that sense, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that Slack app is amazing. I'm going to be releasing the spreadsheets every day in there as well, and I have a dedicated channel for it for you guys that are on Slack with us. So that is going to be, like, you literally can, that entire channel is just going to be talking about the optimals, lineups, all that stuff. So that's where that is going to be. So again, the Slack app is amazing with the organization of it. I like it a lot better than Facebook from the perspective of Facebook, posts get lost really easy, especially as there's more people and more posting. You can make a post and in 5 minutes it's at the bottom of the page. Slack, it's just a streamlined communication and it's very organized, so.
No, I agree, and I think we haven't really unlocked its potential yet. I mean, I know Kyle and I are still pretty new to it, and I'm seeing it on a daily basis. I'm learning new things about it, and the potential is pretty cool. So I'm sure it'll be somewhat of a learning curve. Losing my voice. Somewhat of a learning curve for you guys as well. But give us feedback. Really, maybe you'll learn something that we haven't figured out yet. So give us some feedback about what you like and what you don't like, and as always, we will. You guys are our bosses, so we will conform.
Hell yeah. And the two gurus on Slack, by the way, are Jeff Bissell and Alex Molk. I believe that's how you say his last name. So they are both in that chat. Jeff is Leroy.
Yeah, maybe.
Jeff is Leroy the Great, and Alex is More to Know, something like that. It's something. He has two twos in his name.
More to look forward to.
More to look forward to. There you go.
What are your thoughts on this, Kyle? I just had an idea.
Uh-oh.
Ding ding. What are your thoughts on having a section? What do you call it? A channel that's called Slack support, and the only two people that are in the channel, as admins, are those two guys. They'll be our two Slack support technicians.
I'm down with that.
As long as they are, obviously. But so if you do come across a roadblock, all you gotta do is drop a questions into the Slack support channel, and our gurus will do their best to answer it for you.
Hell yeah, I'm down with that. If Alex and Jeff are down with that, then we'll throw it in there. So I'll do it with them and make sure they're cool with it, and if they are, you'll see that channel up tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir.
So, well, it's in the wee hours of the morning. I got to finish these spreadsheets, get them out to you guys, and then I'm off to work. Mike's going to go take his ass to bed.
I'm going to fucking shovel snow. But, again, if you're listening to us and on iTunes or wherever we are now,
Yeah,
I'm almost like getting lost on where all of our platforms are. But if you're new to us, check out one of our videos or send us some feedback. Let us know that my shoes suck or I'm boring or our show is stupid. Everything. We want to know all the hate too. We like the love and the hate. Hit us up.
Hell yeah, man. I'm still waiting for T Raw. That's the guy. Again, he needs the attention, so I got to call him out on the show and give him his attention. He loves to come on the videos after they're posted and tell us how bad we are. So hopefully he watches it till the end, so he hears his call out or shout out. But yeah, man, we love the support, guys. Appreciate it as always. We're gonna keep building for you guys.
That's all I got. All I can say is, congrats to those who have won money today. Congrats to those who are joining us with the intention of winning money. And let's get some money tomorrow. And look forward to, if you are a paid subscriber, look forward to these stacking stats and all of the other stuff.
Smart
as well
stacking.
As getting in the Slack thing and checking it out. Yeah, smart stacking.
Stacking is don't stack to stack. I'm telling you. I know other podcasts will just shout stack the whole damn podcast, and I promise you, there's a way to do it.
So again, for those of you that didn't read up on it, go check it out. I'll give you a SparkNotes version right now. What I'm saying is that on a short slate, it is inevitable that we are going to roster players on the same team and in the same game. It's just going to happen. So in doing so, you have to do it in a smart way. And the things that I provide, or the statistics that I provide, are just an extra tool to look at to make sure that you are rostering the right people in the right team and on the right game.
Agree completely. So there's a way to do it, and Mike has figured that out, and he has a detailed article for you guys. So you need to read that. I promise. It is very informational.
It's just another thing to look at and consider.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for tuning in. Appreciate you guys sticking with us so late. If you're listening on iTunes, again, thank you for tuning in. And remember, give us 5 stars, write a review, let us know. Help us get to that front page. So thank you guys so much again. Have a wonderful night.